Facts First presents Stranger kidnaps a little girl, and 3 words save the girl's life. Before we jump into the video, I'd like to say 3 words to you. Please like us, and also be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our future videos. Parents are always telling their kids that they should never talk to strangers. They also tell them to never accept candy or ice cream from a stranger. Helping a stranger find their lost puppy, that's also a no-no. Parents tell their kids these things because, well, there are some crazy people in this world. There are people who kidnap children. There are many reasons people kidnap children, and each reason just gets sicker than the last. It's why parents try to caution their kids as much as possible so that they don't fall prey to kidnappers. Unfortunately, though, there are some kids who don't heed their parents' warnings and are too young to understand the dangers. Some kids have a false sense of security. They believe as long as they're close to home that they're safe. Sadly, that is how children disappear. And one day, a stranger grabbed a little girl from her yard. 15 minutes later, 3 words saved that little girl's life. Jocelyn Rojas was a happy 5-year-old little girl. Like most little kids, she loved to play outside, and like most kids, she often heard that she should not talk to strangers. Unfortunately, a man was able to lure her from her grandmother's yard while she was playing alone. He promised her an ice cream, and when she got close enough to the car, he grabbed her by the neck and pulled her inside. It wasn't long before her family realized that she was gone and the police started a search party. Since the girl had only been missing for a very short time, the authorities thought that if they took the necessary steps, she could be found safely. Police began blocking off streets in hopes of keeping the kidnapper trapped in the neighborhood. They also dispatched a canine unit. Jocelyn's family gave the police her clothing so that the dogs would be able to get her scent so they could begin looking for her. Several officers and people in the community started searching for the little girl block by block. When the 2 neighborhood boys, Tamar and Chris, heard about this missing girl, they decided to join the search party in hopes of finding the girl on their own. They were only 15 years old each, but they believed that they had just as much of a chance of finding the little girl as anybody else, and they didn't wake up that morning expecting to go on this type of adventure, but since they had a chance of saving a young girl's life, they were more than willing to help. When the boys were about a half-mile from Jocelyn's grandmother's house, they saw a maroon sedan. It was the same type of vehicle that was said to have taken the girl. They also noticed the driver was acting suspiciously. According to Tamar, every time they'd go down a street, the man would turn back around. Each time, the boys would follow him. They continued doing this for 15 minutes. They realized that they had to keep chasing this car so they could find out if Jocelyn was inside. After a while, they realized they needed to make a move. They said that they just couldn't keep up with the chase all day because they risked losing the car. Finally, Tamar pulled the bike right alongside the car. He says that he looked the man straight in the eyes and said, "I see you." He says he did this so that the man would know that he got a good look at him and that he knew the man had taken Jocelyn. After Tamar said these 3 words, the man drove to the top of a hill. The boys watched as he let Jocelyn out of the car. When the boys saw Jocelyn get out of the car, they quickly rode to her aid. As the man sped away, Jocelyn told the boys that she wanted her mom. Tamar put her on the handlebars of his bike, and the 2 boys rode back to the house where Jocelyn was taken from. When the authorities and Jocelyn's family saw them coming up the road, they all rushed over to the trio. Jocelyn's mother hugged her tightly, and the police asked the boys what happened. The boys told the police that they weren't sure if the kidnapper let the little girl go because the boys were following him or because they had seen his face. Jocelyn's family and friends didn't seem to care why. They were just happy that she was back home. The 3 kids were taken to the police station so that they could give a description of the kidnapper. The boys were able to give a perfect description of the man and his vehicle, and thanks to their description, the kidnapper was caught the very next day. According to Jocelyn's mother, these 2 boys were heroes. They took the time to help with the search and they found the little girl. That was all that mattered. Her family says that she's traumatized by her kidnapping and it'll take time for her to heal. Her mother says, thanks to these 2 boys, her daughter will have a chance to heal. She says that if it weren't for the boys, the story may not have had a happy ending at all. Just goes to show you, you don't have to be a highly trained police officer to save a life. Subscribe for more.